Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. If you follow me on Instagram, you'll know that lately I have been posting some personal finance stuff, and that is because over the last year or so, I've really done a lot of research and been invested in the FIRE movement and getting out of debt and saving money for retirement, retiring early. A lot of you have sent me questions asking for advice, and I want to preface this by saying I didn't go to school for this. I don't have any license or certification in finance, so take everything with a grain of salt. This definitely isn't advice. This is just what I've done. So if that can help you, cool. If not, also cool. I think the first step in explaining where I'm at currently is telling you guys why I was in debt and how I got out of debt. So let's go. Back in 2005, I didn't have any debt. I was working a very good job, making about $83,000 a year, but I was also really dumb. I didn't save anything. I was taking trips to California every weekend, going to tapings of Wild and Out and shows at the Groundlings, and paying a lot for my friends that couldn't afford to do stuff as well. So I didn't really save anything. I lived alone at the time, so my expenses were obviously higher, but I was making enough money to save and I didn't. So 2005, no debt, but also not smart. In 2006, I got in a car accident, totaled my car, had to get a new car. I put $5,000 down and I financed about $15,000, so $15,000 in debt in 2006. In 2007, the beginning of the year, I ended up paying off the car because I was still at that job making a bunch of money, but later in the year I got laid off, and because I did not save anything and was really stupid, I ended up having to cash out my 401k to survive. The latter part of 2007, my weight had crept up to 291 and I hit this wall where I was super desperate and didn't have a job, so I was like, great time to get surgery, right? So I went to a doctor as a cash patient, was approved for surgery instantly, took out a line of care credit, which I highly recommend against unless you absolutely need to. I was told my payments would be about $191 a month. They ended up being almost $400 a month. So I had lap band surgery and that added about $17,000 to my debt. So I had paid my car off, but now I had $17,000 in care credit debt. In 2008, I got a new job and I went back to school. I had not finished my bachelor's degree at this point. I had changed my major so many times. I was going to and from school and it seemed stupid to keep going until I knew what I wanted to do, so I stopped wasting money, time, and credits. So I went back to school and my first care credit payments came due, and being that they were about $400 a month and I was only making $23,000 at my new job, I could not afford it. So since I was in school, I received a bunch of grants and some student loan opportunities. So I ended up taking that out to, one, help pay for school, two, to pay off the care credit and basically assume that debt as student loan debt, which I don't necessarily recommend, but for me at the time, it was the only way I was going to be able to make ends meet. Also in 2011, the housing market was trash city. So I bought a foreclosure. I was dating someone and they had terrible credit because they just decided they weren't going to pay their student loans back. So the mortgage was entirely in my name, and I bought a house for $101,000. So my payments with property tax and insurance was only about $700 a month for a 3-bed, 2-bath garage and a pool. So that was pretty sweet. So in 2011, I graduated, and obviously you have a 6-month reprieve after graduation before you have to start paying back your student loans. So I didn't want to do that yet. So I applied for grad school and started grad school in 2011. I ended up taking one class and I got an A, but I realized how much I absolutely hated writing papers and couldn't imagine doing that for 2 to 3 years, so I dropped out of grad school. In early 2012, I had to start paying my student loan back, so I realized that I could not make the payments on my $23,000 a year salary. So I went and interviewed for other jobs, got another job offer for about $10,000 more, took it back to my current job. They matched it to keep me, so I stayed and started making payments on my student loan. During the time from 2008 to 2012, I had also gotten $6,000 in credit card debt from doing just stupid things like buying concert tickets and just stupid things. I couldn't even tell you where really I spent that money, but I got into more credit card debt. So by 2012, I had about $23,000 in debt. In 2013, I got even further into debt, about another $12,000. The foreclosure house that I bought didn't have any appliances or anything, so I had to buy all that stuff, and basically just stuff fixing up the house. I spent about $12,000 doing that. So by 2013, I had about $35,000 in debt. In 2013, I also got a new job, but it was the same salary, but much better for me. And I also filed for divorce, so that was a thing. Then in early 2014, the divorce was finalized. I sold the house. Unfortunately, since Arizona is a community property state, I had to give my ex half of the equity. Ended up making about $80,000 from the sale of the house, so I basically got $40,000. My ex's mother-in-law had gifted us, but really lent us $10,000 for the down payment when I bought the house, so I paid her back $5,000. I wasn't going to worry about him paying her back. That's something they can work out between themselves. So then I had $35,000, and I moved back in with my parents and basically took that entire $35,000 and paid off all my credit card and student loan debt. I ended up like coming out even Stevens, but definitely not ahead. But as of 2014, I was out of debt. For most of 2014, from like February to November, I lived at home. I kept trying to find another place to live and couldn't really find anything in an area that was affordable for me. So it took 11 months, and thankfully my parents did not charge me rent to live at home during that time, unlike other times that I had ended up moving home. So that really was super, super helpful, and honestly one of the nicest things they've ever done for me. So while I was living at home, since I wasn't having to pay rent, I basically took, I think it was like $800 or $900 a month and put it into savings. Like I was paying rent to like get used to that again. Also, so I would have enough for security deposits and all that other fun stuff when I did find a place and was ready to move. So basically 2015, I was in my own place, living life, debt-free, and stayed debt-free until 2018 when I bought a new car, which now I have learned I will never buy like a new car again, just due to the amount of depreciation. And now I have about $9,700 in debt. It's a zero interest loan, so there's no real rush to pay it off. So right now, sort of my finance plan is maxing out my Roth IRA every year, which is $6,000, and then anything I have left over, I will contribute towards paying off the car. So I already have an emergency fund, so I don't really need to worry about that. Thankfully, I'm still employed throughout this pandemic. Also last year I got a second job, so now I have 2 income streams, which is nice. So basically the second job I just basically use to pay for retirement and savings, and a little bit of that is also a vacation fund. So that's where I'm at. I ended up coming out on top, I guess, sort of even after selling the house. So basically my plan is that after this car is paid off, to never, ever, ever get in any kind of debt again. So even though this might seem insane to some people, in addition to working to pay off the car, I'm also setting aside about $160 a month into an investment account so that hopefully whenever I need to buy a new car, I can use those funds to do that and pay cash. So that is my getting out of debt story. Technically, I guess I'm still in debt, but my assets are more than my liabilities, so at least that's good. If you have any questions, leave them below, and if you want to see any more, I guess, financy, savings, debt type videos. Let me know, and let me know what you would want to see. And I will talk to you later. Okay, bye.